Hey everybody, Dr. Maggie at Dr. Maggie Therapy here, and I want to take just a few minutes today to talk about something that I've hit on before, but I really want to focus on what it means to be patient and how we can practice being patient with each other. Because remember that love is patient, and if we are going to treat each other with love, we have to first be patient. And if we can't be patient, we can't be kind and gentle and all of those other things that are required of us if we are going to be treating someone with love. So I'm going to get into that, and it might be even a little bit controversial. It might get me in hot water, but hang in there. But before I get into it, please hit like and subscribe. And if you think you know someone who could benefit from learning a little bit more about how to be patient, please share this with them. So, yes, we have to be patient with people if we are going to be kind and respectful. And so, one of the things that I tell people a lot, and I learned from over the years from teaching parenting classes and working with children of all ages, and even with my own children and my granddaughter, I have learned, and this is where I'm going to get in trouble, I've learned that we are all 2-year-olds. Yeah, I said that. We are all 2-year-olds. No matter how many years we've lived on this planet, no matter how much we have grown, we are still 2-year-olds. And what I mean by that is a 2-year-old wants what she wants when she wants it right now. And if she can't get what she wants, she is going to have a little bit of a fit. Now, thankfully, most adults have grown out of the fit stage. We've learned to regulate our emotions a little bit, but we are still deep at our core. I believe we are still 2-year-olds. We want what we want when we want it. And if we don't get what we want when we want it, we're a little bit bent out of shape. And so we have to practice emotional regulation so that we aren't throwing a fit when we don't get what we want. But what does that mean for us when we interact with someone who isn't emotionally regulated, whether they are 2 or 92? And I've seen emotional dysregulation at all ages, again, across all socioeconomic statuses. It doesn't matter what our culture is. I have seen emotional dysregulation in about every corner of the world. So, how do we respond to someone who is emotionally dysregulated? Well, this is where we get to practice being patient. Because if we respond with emotional dysregulation to someone else's emotional dysregulation, you know how quickly that's going to spiral out of control. So imagine, if you will, you're working with a 2-year-old. If you get angry at a 2-year-old who's throwing a temper tantrum, you've already lost. You've ceded the point, you've given up. You've said, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and melt down along with you. And quite frankly, I've seen a lot of people do that. In fact, I probably did that a time or two when my children were young. It wasn't effective at all. So what we have to do is take a deep breath and remember that we are differentiated, that we are individuals who do not have to respond to someone else's emotional dysregulation with our own emotional dysregulation. So we have to be patient, and we acknowledge what they are experiencing. That when a 2-year-old is throwing a fit, you might say something like, I can see that you're really unhappy right now. You don't have to say anything else. You simply acknowledge that they are having a problem. instead of trying to talk them out of it, oh, don't do that. It will just make it that much worse because they won't have made their point. What you do is you simply say, wow, I can see you're having a hard time right now. Would you like some help? How can I help you? Sometimes we might have to say, you know what? I think it would be best for you to take a time out and go calm down and take them to their room. Let them stay in their room and throw their little fit all by themselves. And as soon as they're quiet, you respond to them and say, hey, would you like to come and join us for dinner now? You don't have to rehash what they were upset about. You do not have to do that. In fact, it's probably better if you don't. You simply move on. You don't have to talk about every time somebody becomes emotionally dysregulated. You don't have to talk about every fit that was thrown. You just simply recognize they had a moment and they needed a moment. And as soon as their moment is over, then they can join the game. I like to think of that timeout that often people will give to children. I've heard different theories about this, but mine is really simple. It's like football. When coach calls a timeout or pulls someone out of the game, they sit on the bench. They get a drink of water. They get a breath. They talk to the coach about what to do. And then when they figure out what they need to do, they say, let me back in the game. They don't sit out for a certain number of minutes because they're being punished. It's simply a time to regroup and rejoin the game. And that's all it is. You give them that opportunity to get emotionally regulated. Again, whether they are 2, 32, 62, or 92. They need that moment to get ready to get back in the game, whatever that takes. And the less you talk about it, believe it or not, the better off you're going to be. I know that sounds kind of strange coming from someone who talks a lot about communication, because people will often come into me and say, oh, well, we have a problem because we, don't know how to communicate, or we don't communicate very well. And then I come along in this regard and say, sometimes less is best. You don't have to hash out everything. If I am emotionally dysregulated, I need a moment to get myself back online and to be able to think about what it is that I need, how I want to handle it, and then I can go and rejoin the group. Now, most of the time people don't see when I get emotionally dysregulated, which is a good thing. I've learned to keep that private. But I still have to go through that mental process. Understanding that people, all of us, need that moment where we can regroup is understanding how we can be patient with someone else. It is not your job to help them get emotionally regulated. It is not your job to make them happy in the moment. It is your job to step back and allow them that space, to give them that respect, to be able to work through that, and then to be present and available and a safe place to be when they come back. Okay, guys, that's it for today. And I hope this helps someone. And please, again, share it if you think it might. And I will catch you next time. Bye.